What's up guys, Sam Adams here, and tonight we're going to be talking about my most anticipated games of 2015, the games that are really getting me excited for this year, and I hope they will get you excited as well. I think these are going to be some awesome releases that are going to bring a lot of awesome things into the gaming world. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. The first thing that I'm really excited about is the new Nintendo 3DS seeing its American release. And so if you're not aware, the new Nintendo 3DS shows off a new right analog stick that has been added, which is kind of reminiscent to a laptop touchpad that's right in the middle of a keyboard from like the early 2000s, that little red button. You guys probably know what I'm talking about, but if not, there's a picture right there. And so that's been added. There are also a couple of shoulder buttons that have been added so that the developers can have a couple of extra controls. And although a lot of people are going to say this isn't really that innovative and stuff like that, the viewing angle for the 3D has been increased. A couple of the jacks have been moved around so that the console is more accessible and all in all works better and feels better whenever you're playing. And I think this is going to be a really awesome release for handheld fans like myself. Personally, I play a lot of Vita, but the 3DS, I want it to come back into my life because I've been putting a lot of 3DS games in my back catalog just because I wanted to wait for this new system to come out, because although I have the first generation red 3DS that came with the Super Mario Land 3D bundle, it just doesn't really get the job done as far as playing the game and enjoying the game for what it is goes. But it's a really small screen and the viewing angle for the 3D is extremely limited. So you have to really focus on keeping your face in that 3D parameter. And with the new Nintendo 3DS, you won't have to do that. I'll be buying the XL version, but there are also smaller versions that have face plates included on them. So if that sounds like your kind of thing, this one will probably be happening within the next 1 to 2 months if predictions are correct. Next up, I'm pretty excited about Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. And if you don't know or you don't follow my channel, back on Black Friday I bought an Xbox One and I was considering selling my PlayStation 4. And then I looked ahead to this year and I saw Uncharted 4: A Thief's End and I knew that I had to keep that thing for some reason. And that was the reason. I am a huge fan of the Uncharted series. Nathan Drake goes on some crazy adventures. I even played the Vita version, which was Uncharted Golden Abyss, and it's a pretty good game. If you have a Vita, I'd recommend checking it out. But not a lot of details have been released about this story, but recently there was announced that a multiplayer mode will still be included with Uncharted 4, and as long as they balance out some of the gun issues from Uncharted 3, they could pretty much copy and paste that over to Uncharted 4, put a new skin on it, and I'd be satisfied with it, because the Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception multiplayer was pretty freaking awesome. But the game looks beautiful. There was a live demo a couple of weeks ago at the PlayStation Experience, and I'm really excited to see what Nathan Drake does next. Another thing I'm really excited about is Hotline Miami 2 Wrong Number. I'm a huge fan of Hotline Miami, and the way I see it, it's kind of like what Pulp Fiction would be like if it was a game. It's really fast-paced. You pretty much just go in and you clear a room of enemies as quickly as possible, or you can take it slow and strategically. That's kind of the way I normally do, but I do like to mix it up and do a little bit of running and gunning. If you haven't played Hotline Miami, I would actually recommend playing it on the Vita or the PlayStation 4, both which have touch controls. You know, the DualShock has the touchpad and the Vita has the touch screens on both the front and the back. But Hotline Miami is really fun. Hotline Miami 2, I don't see how it can't be fun. And the story is still better than Destiny. So, I mean, why not? Speaking of Destiny, a lot of DLC was recently announced. And that's something that gets my blood pumping because I'm a huge fan of Destiny. And if you aren't aware, last week, I believe, there was a screenshot leaked on the internet that showed the future plans for Destiny DLC. So obviously, we've got the first 2 expansions, one of which has already been released, one which is coming in the next couple of months. And then there's supposed to be a giant DLC pack coming that is supposedly going to be kind of Destiny 1.5, which would be pretty interesting considering it's supposed to be on its standalone disc. So that might bring a lot more players into the universe of Destiny. And then after that, there's still supposed to be 2 more expansions and a Game of the Year edition, which includes all of this DLC, if I'm understanding all of this correctly. And that's not a bad thing, because I do want Destiny to become more popular, even though it does lack in story. And where it does lack in story, it makes up for an awesome gameplay. And although it is repetitive, it's the good kind of repetitive. It's kind of like going to the store and buying cake. You know, you don't mind going back and buying more cake. I don't mind going back and playing more Destiny. Finally, we have Project Cars, which a lot of you will probably be surprised I'm talking about. But recently I've been getting kind of into the racing simulation world. I've been playing a lot of Forza, and the way I see Project Cars, I hope it turns out to be what I wanted Drive Club to be. So obviously Drive Club failed miserably. It will never come back from that. But Project Cars has been in development for a few years, and it is supposedly the most realistic racing simulator to date, which is pretty exciting because racing simulators can be really fun, especially after you have your license, which I talked about in a vlog a couple of days ago. I think racing simulators get better once you can drive and you understand fully what's going on, what you're doing in the car. But Project Cars is hitting on March 17th, and I really can't wait to check this one out because it does look absolutely gorgeous. Check out that screenshot. That is just a screenshot. That's not real life. That's a screenshot. Wow. Also, I kind of want to mention, kind of don't want to mention, but Tony Hawk recently showed off a 4K action camera at the Sony press conference at CES, and while he was doing that and while the camera looks awesome, the main thing I cared about was that there's a new Tony Hawk game coming, maybe exclusively to the PlayStation game consoles, but I doubt it. I'm not really excited about that game, to be honest with you. You know, Tony Hawk Woo, if it stays true to the core values of like the early 2000 games, sure, I'll take that. But what I'm hoping for is an HD remake of all of the old Tony Hawk games because I absolutely adore all of the Hawk games, especially Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 and Tony Hawk Underground 2. Those were my two favorite games. Play those extremely long hours in my childhood. And I really hope to see an HD remake of those in, preparation for release of the new Tony Hawk game. And I would really appreciate something like that, and I'm sure a lot of other people would. Even if it was just released as a PlayStation 1 classic on the PlayStation Store, that'd be cool too. So there you guys have it. That's what I'm most excited to see in 2015 as far as gaming goes. If you enjoyed this video, drop me a like down below and comment what you're most excited about. What games are going to have a reserved spot on your hard drive this year? And also, if you're new to the channel or you've never seen any of my other videos, please head over to my main page and check out some of my other content. I work really hard to make high quality videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, and a few scattered in between depending on how the week goes and what happens. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you soon. Peace.